What is poppin', Warheads? Warstu here with a video on the Justice League movie. So over the last couple of days there's been a lot of ludicrous DC kind of Marvel fanboy articles saying that the Justice League movie is unwatchable. But if Wonder Woman movie is anything to go by, this is ludicrous. So let's go back before the actual Wonder Woman movie came out. There were multiple websites saying Wonder Woman movie is a mess. There was articles popping up saying Patty Jenkins responds to rumors that Wonder Woman is an absolute mess. So let's fast forward. So currently Wonder Woman is deemed as one of the best kind of superhero movies ever. It's outgrossed literally Iron Man, it's outgrossed everything. So you shouldn't really go by early rumors, because early screenings or early viewings of movies unwatchable, what does this actually mean? Well, of course, if people haven't inputted the editing, they've not done the CGI, they've not done the auditing, they've not done post-production editing, then of course everything would be unwatchable. So it's absolutely ludicrous for all these websites and stuff to say early cuts of Justice League is unwatchable. I call it clickbait, and people are saying that Joss Whedon's reshoots are going to save the Justice League. Hang on a minute, guys. We are talking about the same person that was involved with Age of Ultron. How bad was that movie? That's my personal opinion, but I don't think that Joss Whedon is going to be saving anything. Now, we do know that Zack Snyder completed 100% of the principal photography for this movie. So this means, based by the DGA rules, they prohibit him from being excluded from the post-production decision making. So what does this mean? This means that Zack Snyder will be involved with the post-production reshoots and editing if he wants to. Obviously, he stepped away from being the main director due to his sad incident that happened with his daughter. But don't for 1 minute think this is turning into a Joss Whedon movie, because I think 12 weeks of reshoots does not justify him having his own movie. So it's still a Zack Snyder movie. And then everyone was saying that the kind of the final scenes, the ending has actually changed. But guys, if you actually do a little bit of research, you would actually know that this wasn't supposed to be a two-part movie. This was supposed to be a kind of Justice League origin story. It was never supposed to be a two-part movie, like most people are insinuating that this was supposed to be a two-part movie. So in early 2014, Warner Brothers officially announced that Zack Snyder will be directing Justice League Part 1 and the Justice League Part 2 set for 2019. Obviously, these dates are going to change. But later on, it was never specifically noted that it was going to be the same story. So from my interpretation of it, the Justice League movie is supposed to be a standalone origin story with not a cliffhanger, but obviously kind of events that happen in the Justice League first movie will cross over with the second part. So a lot of people are saying that the movie's in a complete mess because they're changing the ending of the Justice League movie, as Darkseid will no longer be involved. I believe this is just kind of your kind of standard DC haters, your kind of standard clickbait articles, because there's no actual quantifiable information that actually said Darkseid was ever in this movie. I can't seem to find anyone being casted for Darkseid. Let me know if I'm wrong. And then we have people like Batman coming out and saying that it's like he loved working with one person, but he loved to work with another person. I mean, personally, I wouldn't trust anything that Ben Affleck says, because he keeps saying he's in, then he's out, then he's in, then he's out, and then he's signing a 3-year deal to be in a kind of trilogy movie for Batman, which would take him up for the next 10 years, which realistically doesn't even sound kind of realistic. So if you read the actual true articles, it said that Joss Whedon will help Zack Snyder finish his vision. So Unwatchable, I mean, have they run out of word to say? Because originally, like, Wonder Woman was a mess. I mean, a lot of people didn't like kind of Batman versus Superman because it was too dark and gritty, and Batman doesn't kill in the comic books, and Batman doesn't kill in other Batman movies. But, guys, if you know anything about Batman, yes, Batman does kill in other movies, so I don't really understand where you're coming from. Yes, Batman has a code of conduct where he doesn't want to kill people, but if he needs to, he will. So yes, the tone of the movie might have changed a little bit due to Wonder Woman, but Zack Snyder would have been involved with this heavily. So I don't understand why people are calling it a Joss Whedon movie, because he was involved with 100% of the primal photo shoots. So it's still a Zack Snyder movie. Realistically, this is just fanboys. I mean, the guy who actually says it's unwatchable is not credible. I mean, it's not really credible. I mean, you could argue that they're spending millions of dollars, rumoredly $25 million on these reshoots, but every movie Ben Affleck has been in has had reshoots. Suicide Squad had reshoots. Batman vs Superman had reshoots. Reshoots are standard. So I don't really understand why they're making a big deal about these being extensive. Well, obviously they're going to be extensive because people like Henry Cavill is obviously shooting Mission Impossible. I believe Ezra Miller has started doing Fantastic Beasts. So these two actors might be hard to get hold of because they're currently doing other work, and obviously Henry Cavill's got a kind of a moustache that they're going to have to digitally edit out. So I wouldn't believe anything that anyone says about these unwatchable things, seeing as most people believe that the Justice League was going to be a two-parter, where if you actually do your research, it wasn't supposed to be a two-parter with a cliffhanger. There was a potential cliffhanger, but if you do real research, you'll find out it was a standalone movie with the potential to kind of lead off from the first Justice League. So I've no idea where these rumors are coming from. I mean, it seems to be a hot kind of buzzword. But guys, I still think it's a safe bet to say Justice League movie will be one of the best kind of comic book movies of our time if Wonder Woman is anything to actually go by. I mean, to use the word unwatchable is kind of savage. I mean, it stems from the reshoots. I mean, reshoots are standard, guys. You don't realize how normal it is for a movie to have reshoots. It happens literally all the time, but they're just not publicized that heavily. But obviously, because this is DC, and like we've got like people's comments. The problem is the actors on the show for the Justice League movie, they're all coming out with different comments. And these comments are making people believe that it was a massive mess. But how can you say something is mess before post-production is done and before the reshoots are actually done? You can't judge a movie on a first cut, can you guys? You can judge a movie on the cinema release before you get the kind of the ultimate edition, and you get like the master edition, and you get the final. There's multiple different versions that come out for every movie. So these reshoots, okay, yes, they might not be standard pickups and additional photography, but this does not mean that the movie is unwatchable. This even means that kind of Zack Snyder and maybe Joss Whedon and maybe Jeff Johns has a different kind of outlook of what they want for the end of the movie. But the end of the movie would be like 10 minutes of the movie, 10-20 minutes of potentially a 3-hour movie. So yeah, I don't think 12 weeks is long enough to reshoot the whole movie. So guys, let me know in the comments box down below. Do you think these reshoot allegations are ridiculous? Personally, I think they are. I think they're just fueled by kind of desperate websites that need clicks because there's no actual factual evidence. I don't even think the person that's saying they're a mess actually watched it. It just seems like he's heard it from someone on the set. Obviously, there's always going to be rumors from movies, and it's most likely not true. But guys, let me know in the comments box down below. What do you think? Do you actually think Darkseid was ever supposed to be in the movie? I mean, that's the only thing I'm taking away from it. What's going on with Darkseid? Was he supposed to be in it? Are we going to have a MCU kind of Thanos crazy ass build up to the movie, like where Thanos built up in the Marvel world for 10 years, I think it was. Hopefully they don't go that route with Darkseid, but if they do, I would understand, because you can't really get bigger than Darkseid. Someone like Anti-Monitor maybe, but Darkseid is the biggest villain, so if they are taking Darkseid out of the movie or taking DC out, I can understand. Because how could they top Darkseid for villains? They couldn't. Darkseid is OP. Darkseid is the ultimate. Anyway, guys, all your comments in the comment box down below, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Don't forget to please like, subscribe, and comment if you want to, and I will catch you in a video very soon. Catch ya later.